All right, y'all. Welcome back to Correctional Officer Stories with Steve. As always, I'm your host. How are all my goon squads doing out there? Thanks for tuning in again. Today is Sunday. Got a glorious week ahead. I got a busy week. I have the week off. However, I have a lot of things to do, some scheduled things to get done. So it's just going to be a busy week for me. I'm not going to get into everything I got to do, but it's going to be a busy week. Thanksgiving is Thursday, so happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys and gals, and especially the goons. Anyway, as you can see from the title, I'm going to talk today a little bit about what correctional officer training cannot prepare you for. So there's some things that you aren't going to be prepared for. And some of those things are like your first cell search, right? So you're going to do some practice at the academy. They're going to, put it, officers or whoever's putting on the academy, they're going to put them in orange. That's what the inmates wear out here. They're going to put them in orange, and they're going to have them acting up, or you got to pull them out of the cell, tell them you need to search the cell. Most times you got to have two officers present to search a cell. But that's not real. You're not going to be prepared for how an inmate's going to act, because remember, that's their living quarters. That's everything they have, everything they own, and everything that's important to them in that little cell. That's not very big. So when you go in there and you have to search it and you start ripping through things, my advice is you don't have to go crazy and toss everything out and, when you're done, make that inmate go pick it up. Yeah, you're going to go through it, and especially if you're pissed and you're looking for dope, or you're looking for like a letter that you think as an inmate's going to smash on somebody, or whatever you're looking for, training is not going to prepare you for your first cell search. So just remember that. It's also not going to prepare you for when an inmate stares you down and you're about to get, down with an inmate. And because maybe he thought you disrespected him, or maybe she thought that you said something crazy to him, depending on whether you're working in a male or female facility. Maybe you gave them a ticket that they didn't appreciate. Maybe they had just gotten into a fight and now you grabbed him, and then now you've turned them around and they're looking at you like you're not gonna be able to train for the first time a real offender, lifer, murderer, whatever the frickin' case is. Convicts looks you in the face, stares you down, and it's go time. You're not going to be prepared for that, right? You just can't train for that. I mean, you can try, but you ain't going to train for it because it's a real life situation. You're not going to be able to train for the first time you take an inmate to the ground, right? You can train for that in defensive tactics. You can go over it and over and over it, practice in cell extractions and all the stuff that you're going to learn at the academy. But when it's go time, and you're going face to face and you're going to take an actual offender down to the ground, you're going to actually have them fighting back, and they're not going to stop. And it's not going to be like in the academy where they can call timeout. That's it. It's go time. So that's why I always talk about make sure you're in some kind of shape, or make sure that you have some kind of wind. So if you have to take an inmate to the ground, you don't run out of your wind in 10 seconds. Because then what? Then that means the inmate has the advantage. And then you're screwed. And trust me, a lot of these convicts, inmates, whatever you want to call them, they keep themselves in shape day in and day out. Not all of them, but for the most part, especially if you're working for a GP yard, it's required to go to rec. They're in shape. So make sure you're in shape. Same thing with the female yard. You might have to take one down. And trust me, some of these females can fight. So you might want to look into getting into some MMA or learning how to defend yourself or whatever outside of the common training that you get within the Department of Corrections training. The training isn't going to prepare you to go dig through, be on a defecation watch where an inmate swallowed something and you're waiting for them to poop it out, and then you got to sift through that poop, right? You're not going to go through training. Officer or your training sergeant or whoever isn't going to take a dump and then tell you to go through it. You're not going to be trained for that, and you're not going to know how to prepare for that until you actually have to do it. And I'm going to be the first one to tell you, I never, ever, I think I was on one defecation watch in my time in DLC, and I was pissed the whole time. And that inmate knew not to take a dump on my shift. Knew it. He wasn't gonna. I said, listen, I'm taking no dump on my shift. I ain't going through it. And I think they had thought he had swallowed like a razor. It wasn't even dope. It was like a razor. Come to find out, he didn't even do that. But you can't be insubordinate and tell your sergeant, hey, man, I ain't doing that. Or your lieutenant, or whoever's posting you guys on your shift, on your posts. Man, I ain't doing that. I refuse to post, which happens a lot. Some officers do refuse to post. However, that's insubordination. And what follows? Progressive disciplinary, up to and including termination, depending on how egregious it is. So you probably, most likely, maybe one time in your career, if you stick to corrections, will have to go and sift through some poo-poo on a defecation watch. So correctional officer training is not going to prepare you for that. A riot, a real riot. I remember on like my last week of training, we were on the football yard, and everybody in the academy acted like they were inmates, and my class had to square away the riot because we were the graduating class and blah, blah, blah. But there wasn't real weapons involved. It's not real-time combat. Yeah, it gives you the general idea, but there's not a tower where there's live rounds going to be popping off if need be. It's not going to prepare you to really know how to handle a real riot until you get in that situation and you rely on some of the training techniques you were taught, but then you're facing real convicts with real weapons that will kill you. So I don't think, in my humble opinion, that training prepares you for how to really take on a riot. You might know how to participate as a DART member, meaning the Designated Armed Response Team. If you're on the Tactical Support Unit, you train and train and train for things like that. You do a lot of range training. You do a lot of they do all kinds of training where they pop live CS grenades and they gas each other and they do all kinds of stuff. So training as in the academy is not going to prepare you for that. So there's a lot of things that aren't just walking into that prison your first day and your cheeks pucker. Take that academy and really learn all you can, because once it's go time and you graduate and it's time to go out to the facility that you chose or that they're putting you at, it's go time. And I guarantee you, once you walk through those gates and you get onto that yard and you start dealing with inmates and it's real, you might think again, did I really make the right choice? Trust me. Now, remember, go watch some of my videos where I talk about day one as a correctional officer, what it's like to be a correctional officer, some things you're going to see as a correctional officer. But I'm not saying that training is just awful and it's not going to prepare you. That's not what I'm saying. It's just not going to prepare you for real life things you're going to interact with on a daily basis for inmates. They do their best in the academy to help prepare you for that, but there's a lot of things that it's not going to happen until you're in a real situation on the yard with a real convict. I hope you guys are enjoying my content. Goon Squad, continue to rock with me. As I've said in my previous videos, I'm trying to get a better laptop, so I will leave the link to my PayPal in the description if any of my goons want to kick me down some funds. If not, it's not like I'm sitting here begging y'all. As I always say, just give me the finger. But if you do, my link's in the description below. I like to go live. The laptop I have, I can't go live on it. It's a mess. So anyway, shoot me some comments on what you think, and maybe some things that if you're a correctional officer now, you think that training doesn't prepare you for until you get in to the actual facility and you start seeing some live things. I've missed some things, but those are some of the things that I mentioned are some of the most probable things that you're going to deal with that you're just not going to know how to handle until you really get in that real situation. Anything, goons, I appreciate you guys rocking with me. Have a great rest of your weekend. Have a great week ahead and have a great Thanksgiving and happy holidays. Peace out.